Hey, it's me, MLB. This one-shot has very quickly become one of the most requested continuations of my one-shots, and so I've decided to give you all what you've wanted and turned this one-shot, well, three-part one-shot, into a mini-series of 10 chapters. So without further ado, here is part 4 of Her, Sero x Female Listener. That wasn't the only time you kissed that day. Kissing Sero had become something akin to an addiction, and the more your lips were apart from his, the more you craved to have them against yours again, until you'd been kissing non-stop for a good few minutes. You probably would have kept kissing if it weren't for a loud thump outside the common room door, and a few hushed voices whispering something frantically to each other that was closely followed by the sound of something being dragged away that interrupted your quiet time with Sero. Curiously, you and Sero had stopped kissing, and were both turned and looked over the back of the lounge towards the closed door, both wondering what was going on the other side of it. You half expected someone to come in, hopefully to explain the sounds, but no one did, and although it should have made you shrug it off and continue what you were doing with Sero, it didn't, and it was obvious that he was curious as well. Hey, I'm just gonna make sure everything's okay out there, he said slowly, as he got up off the lounge and headed towards the door. Okay, did you want me to come? No. You stay here. I'll just poke my head out, he said, giving you a side smile and quick glance before reaching out for the door handle and gingerly pushing the door open. He poked his head out and looked left and right, but no one was there, so he shrugged and closed the door again and then came back to you. I don't know what that was, he said as he sat back down next to you and put an arm around you to pull you into his side again. It's okay, it was probably nothing, you replied, eyes detailing his lips and longing to feel them against yours again. Yeah, he replied, leaning in to capture your lips against his. Time was lost to delicate touching until the door suddenly opened and in walked a classmate of Sero's, his presence wildly interrupting your make-out session and causing you both to rip violently in opposite directions. The classmate, now aware that he wasn't the only one in the room, stopped and stared at your now parted heads and made a sound, just a small sound to alert his presence. Oh, hi, Todoroki, Sero said a little sheepishly as he peeked over the back of the lounge. I didn't know that you were in here with... Todoroki left the comment open-ended as his heterochromic eyes shifted to you. Oh, hi, This is my girlfriend, Yin, Sero suddenly added proudly, smiling at you as he looked back towards Todoroki. Hello, Todoroki said stiffly to you, adding a small bow. I was going to spend some time in here alone, but it appears I cannot, since you are both here. Things fell silent for a bit, and the awkwardness swirled around the room. Feeling it keenly, you spoke first. It's okay. I think it might be time for me to head home anyway, you said a little sadly, noting that it was getting close to 8 p.m, and you'd been there since early that afternoon. My parents might be wondering about where I am. Oh, Sero said sadly, his face falling. It's okay, we can see each other again soon, right? You asked eagerly, noting that Todoroki was still standing there just listening. Sero nodded, with shining eyes. His mind was already poring over the possibilities of when you two would be able to be together again next. You glanced at Todoroki and then back to Sero. We should go. You got up. Oh, Sero added, seeing your glance at Todoroki and getting up to follow you out of the room. Sheepishly, you both made your way past the stoic classmate who hadn't said anything else while you two were leaving the room. And as you got to the door, Sero stepped up beside you and then took charge, leading the way out, but not without a quick look around before letting you catch up beside him to talk while you were walking to the front of the building together. Todoroki seems... Yeah, he's a little different, but he's okay, Sero said. We're a bit of a mixed bag of people in the class, but we're mostly okay, except... never mind. Except? You asked curiously, your curiosity giving way to mild concern at the way Sero had worded his sentence. Don't worry, he won't go anywhere near you. I have the guys helping me. He's the, purple issue we mentioned earlier, he said, reaching out to take your hand and blushing lightly when he was able to be touching you again. I'm a little worried, you said, swinging your arm in time with his as you walked side by side down the hall to the stairs and then down to the front of the building. "Don't be. I'm here," Sero said with a loving smile at you. You gave him a smile back and squeezed his hand, slowing a little as you reached the front of the Heights Alliance door. Thanks for today," you said with a smile as you stopped and turned to him. "Yeah, thanks," he replied. "I really liked spending time with you." I'll text you?" "Yeah, text me," he said. A second of silence hanging there again as you both stared up into each other's faces. Just as you were about to lean up to kiss him, there was a sound that felt like it shot through the walls of the place, and then there was a series of clicks. "Denki, what have you done?" a voice could be heard from further in the building. I thought it was a self-service ice cream station or something," came the flabbergasted reply from Denki. "You've tripped the system, dude." "What? No. I'll just push it back up again, no problems." A series of grunts followed, and then Denki spoke again. Yeah, it's not moving." Someone else groaned. "Good going, now Aizawa's going to chew us out." You and Sero had stopped to listen to this conversation, and you looked at him inquiringly. He shrugged in reply to your non-verbal question, and that's when the speakers in the foyer crackled to life. "Good evening, students. This is Aizawa speaking. We've just received an alert that the emergency lockdown has been activated in Heights Alliance. While it appears that there have been no villainous activities in or around the building, please be on the lookout for any suspicious activities and stay in your rooms should there be any concerns. You're not able to get into the building until the authorities arrive, and you'll not be able to get out as everything has now locked down. We will work to resolve this in a timely manner. Until then, I want you all to think about the consequences of pulling the lockdown lever should it become apparent that the trigger was pulled on purpose." And with that, the speaker clicked off and the building fell into a deathly silence. "He's not going to know." "He's going to know." "Nobody's going to know." "How are they going to know?" "Your fingerprints are all over the lever, dummy." "Oh, crap. Help me wipe them off." And that's when Sero shook his head with a smirk. "Trust Denki," he said with a small chuckle. "But, looks like you'll be staying here for a little longer then?" Oh ho ho, and there ends part 4. Stay tuned for part 5 coming tomorrow.